Benevento. Have you ever heard of a place where the shadow of witches meets the mystery of ancient Egypt? Where every stone whispers age old stories that defy reason? This isn't just any tourist guide. Today I'll take you on a journey into the heart of Benevento, a city that refuses to be forgotten, an enigma carved in time. Where the past is a thin veil hiding incredible secrets, I will reveal its dual soul, an unexpected fusion of pagan cults and pharaohs, a crossroads of civilizations that will leave you breathless. Get ready to discover Benevento like never before because here, history is not just a story but a breathing presence. Our journey begins under the marble colossus that has welcomed travelers to Benevento for almost 2,000 years, the Arch of Trajan. It is not simply a monument, but a golden gateway, a glittering threshold to a glorious past, engraved with such vivid detail that it seems alive. Each bas relief tells the story of the deeds of an empire, the strength of Rome and its dominion over the known world. It was 114 AD when this arch was raised, not to celebrate a military victory, but to honor the Emperor Trajan, the best of princes, for the construction of the Via Traiana, a vital road that connected Benevento to Brindisi, opening the doors to the east. Imagine the grandeur of Rome manifested here in the heart of Samnium, a territory so strategic at the time. Crossing it today is like taking a step back in time, hearing the echo of the legionaries' boots, the rustle of their togas, the noise of the carriages passing under its imposing vault. It is Benevento's calling card, a constant reminder of its importance in ancient times, but believe me, it is only the beginning. This majestic arch is the first page of a much older and more mysterious book, an invitation to delve deeper, beyond Roman glory, to discover its true intricate identities. Leaving behind us the magnificence of the arch, we enter the shadows and alleys of the historic center. Here, among ancient buildings and centuries old churches, Benevento reveals its most authentic essence, the one that doesn't show at first glance. They're not just stones, they're not just buildings. It's a labyrinth of sensations, a succession of glimpses that seem to have remained unchanged for centuries. The air itself seems to vibrate with unspoken stories, with forgotten whispers. Every curve, every hidden square, every wrought iron detail or fragment of ancient sculpture set in a wall is a clue, a piece of a complex puzzle. Here, time seems to flow at its own pace, different from the frenetic pace of the modern world. This is not the Benevento of history books, the official and clean one. It is the Benevento that is lived in as layered, where the past is not a faded memory but a constant presence, which manifests itself in every shadow, in every crack, in every silence. And it is right here, in this ancient pulsating heart, that its most incredible secret lies. A mystery that completely rewrites what we think we know about ancient Italy. The true, profound secret of Benevento, a secret that still amazes historians and archaeologists today, lies beneath the veil of common history, its temple of Isis. Not a small altar, not a simple minor cult, but the largest, most sumptuous temple of Isis in the entire Western world, outside of Egypt itself. Imagine, we are in the heart of Sanio, in an Italy that still today struggles to reveal all its layers, and here a piece of Egypt emerges, majestic and unexpected. This temple, dedicated to the powerful Egyptian goddess Isis, goddess of magic, motherhood, and rebirth, was not an improvisation. Its construction dates back to the 1st century AD, at the behest of the Emperor Domitian, a great devotee of Isis. He didn't just commission a temple, he wanted it to be authentic, to bring Egypt to Benevento, and so it was. The ruins of the temple, discovered only starting from the 18th century and then more systematically in later periods, have yielded priceless treasures. We are not talking about simple Roman imitations of Egyptian art. We are talking about real obelisks, columns, statues of sphinxes and sacred animals, baboons, falcons, carved in the hardest black granite and basalt, taken away from the heart of Egypt. Across the Nile, then the Mediterranean, and finally Italy, these stone colossi made an epic journey to honor the goddess in this distant land. Think about it, obelisks over 6 meters high, finely engraved with authentic hieroglyphics, dedicated to pharaohs such as Rameses II and Amenhotep III, symbols of a millennial power, sphinxes that stood guard over the thresholds of Egyptian temples, statues representing priests and deities with their unmistakable style. These were not mere decorations, they were tangible manifestations of a distinct religion and culture, a fragment of the Nile amidst the hills of Samnium. The presence of the Temple of Isis in Benevento is a stunning testimony to the global connectedness of the Roman Empire, to its openness towards foreign cults and deities. Isis was an incredibly popular deity among all social classes of the empire, from the common people to the emperors, precisely because of her mysteries and the promise of an afterlife. But why Benevento? Some scholars suggest that the city was located at an important commercial crossroads, or that its geographical position with its waters and fertile land made it a propitious place for a cult linked to fertility and nature like that of Isis. Whatever the exact reason, its existence here, with its grandeur and the authenticity of its artifacts, is not just an archaeological curiosity. It is a window into a world where cultures blended in ways we struggle to even imagine today. The Temple of Isis is not a marginal chapter in the history of Benevento. It is one of its most enigmatic and fascinating pages, a direct bridge between the banks of the Nile and the heart of ancient Italy. Even today, walking around Benevento, you can come across fragments of these Egyptian treasures, exhibited in museums or set in the walls, silent sentinels of an almost unthinkable past. But the history of Benevento, its deep soul, does not stop in Egypt or Rome. Over the centuries, pagan cults, ancient beliefs have transformed, not disappearing completely, but changing, adapting, and giving birth to something new and equally powerful. The legends of the Janare. This is the point where historical mystery merges with the darkest and most fascinating folklore. Imagine rural Italy, moonless nights, and the wind whistling through the trees. In this context, the ancient priestesses of Isis, the healers, the wise women who preserved knowledge of herbs and rites, were demonized over time, transformed by new religions and popular fears into fearsome and seductive figures, the Janari, the witches of Benevento. It was said that they danced under a magical walnut tree, an ancient tree that stood outside the city walls, along the Sabaro River. This walnut tree was not just any tree, it was a symbol, perhaps a place of ancient pagan rites, where festivals dedicated to the fertility of the earth or to Celtic or Samnite deities were celebrated. With the advent of Christianity, these pre existing places of worship were labeled as evil, their participants as followers of the devil. And so, the Janara became women with supernatural powers, capable of flying, of transforming into animals, of entering houses at night to suck the breath of children, or to sow discord. They were ambivalent figures. They could be fearsome and evil, but sometimes also bearers of ancient knowledge, healers, able to divine the future or undo spells. They were the embodiment of the fear and allure of the uncontrolled feminine, of magic and untamed nature. The walnut tree of Benevento has become the centerpiece of this folklore, the symbol of their gathering, the place where they gathered to celebrate their Sabbaths, to renew their powers, to challenge conventions. It is said that the walnut tree was so ancient and imposing that it had roots that extended for kilometers underground, and that its leaves never fell, maintaining an aura of perpetual mystery. Its location close to a river and outside the walls made it an ideal place for clandestine meetings, away from the prying eyes of the church and the authorities. This intersection of ritual magic and feminine power has permeated every aspect of Benevento culture, creating a unique and engaging folklore. The Janare were not just characters in children's fairy tales, they were an integral part of everyday life, an explanation for the inexplicable, a figure to whom good fortune and bad fortune were attributed. And even though the legendary walnut tree no longer exists, it is said to have been cut down several times but never completely defeated in its symbolism. The atmosphere of magic and mystery that surrounds the Janare still pervades Benevento. Walking through its alleys, especially at dusk, it is not difficult to imagine their shadows dancing, their whisper in the wind. The Janara are heirs of those ancient cults, of that primordial force that had its roots in the earth and in the unknown, an indissoluble link between the pagan past and the popular beliefs that have shaped the identity of this city. Here, this is Benevento, an incredible crossroads of civilizations, a place where historical labels crumble to reveal a much more complex and fascinating reality. It is not just a Roman city, although the Arch of Trajan screams its imperial glory. It is not just a Lombard city, even though its splendid monumental complex of Santa Sofia, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, bears witness to an era of barbarian kings and dukes, that they elected it as the capital of a powerful and independent duchy. And it is not just an Egyptian city, although the obelisks and sphinxes of the Temple of Isis continue to enchant and shock our beliefs about ancient history. Benevento is all these things together and much more. It's a kaleidoscope of eras, a palimpsest where every layer is visible, where every stone, every architectural fragment, every winding alley hides an esoteric symbol, a hint of an ancient power. A story of magic and knowledge that has been handed down for millennia. Walking around Benevento means taking a journey through time, not figuratively, but almost literally. Here, the past is not locked away in books or behind museum windows, it is alive, breathing, manifesting itself. Roman walls blend with medieval foundations, churches stand on pagan temples, and legends of witches overlap with tales of saints and warriors. Every corner tells a story, every palace facade has seen emperors, witches, popes, and soldiers pass by. It is a place where reality and legend are not two separate concepts, but two sides of the same coin intertwined in an ongoing dialogue. The Janere, with their dance under the walnut tree, are not isolated figures. They are part of an unbroken line that connects the priestesses of Isis, guardians of ancient secrets, to the female figures who, over the centuries, have challenged established power with their knowledge and independence. Benevento invites you to look beyond the obvious, to perceive the hidden energies vibrating beneath the surface. It pushes you to question the nature of time, the persistence of beliefs, the human capacity to intertwine the sacred and the profane, the divine and the demonic. It is a city that is not easily defined, a rare pearl that continues to guard its mysteries with a certain air of defiance. Every visit is a discovery, every return is a deepening. Its double soul, that of an Egyptian capital in the heart of Italy and that of a homeland of witches, is not a contradiction, but its true, profound identity. It is the place where pharaohs meet folklore, where history is tinged with magic. Benevento, with its dual soul, continues to enchant and fascinate, a hidden treasure just waiting to be discovered by those who have the courage to look beyond the surface. And to listen to the whispers of a past that does not want to be forgotten. It's a city that leaves no one indifferent, an experience that stays with you, a sweet wound in the soul of those who visit it. If you are fascinated by this age old story, I'll see you in the next video, where we'll delve into another unexpected mystery of our world.